a lot of what we do is about exposure, about an introduction to whatever the subject is. So what we've been able to do out of the Institute is get a good basis and be able to bring this back to the classroom, to our students.
When we lay these foundations and we put this information out there and we give them enough that they have a true introduction to it, and the individuals, then when they go off into middle school and high school, they can bring these things and these familiar things up, and then that chain becomes coherent and makes sense for them. So to say I expect my fourth graders to have an understanding of the Harlem Renaissance within the 20th century American picture, no. But it is important that I represent it correctly.
Absolutely.
So that when they get it, that little snapshot that they have is accurate. And so when they can put other snapshots around it to create a bigger cohesive understanding, they have the right stuff.
The tool that we're using is the Harlem Renaissance, or New Negro. You can use that to teach poetry. You can teach structures in poetry. You can teach rhyming. You can teach meter. You can teach stances. You can teach all the different pieces of poetry. And you could do that and do that within another time period or another subject matter. But in this case, we're going to use the Harlem Renaissance as the basis.
We provide them with a solid introduction, then our kids have something to hang on as they move up through. So if I take songs, and I would start off our unit, say, with a great song by Duke Ellington that most people really haven't come across called Drop Me Off in Harlem. And it's a wonderful, energetic, fun song, and it encapsulates sort of that energy and that vibrancy. It talks about, if Harlem was in China, I'd get on a plane and go to China. This is the place you want to be. It is a fantastic place filled with great people doing wonderful things. So as a way to introduce them to the sounds and the visuals and the individuals of that time, that's a wonderful introduction for them.
For our younger children, I would start with Langston Hughes has a book entitled Sweet and Sour, Animal Book, and it's actually an alphabet book with some of his writings that were not published until after his death. It's kind of a unknown kind of work that he's done. And so we study biography about Langston Hughes. We talk about the period, Harlem Renaissance, the New Negro, the history of it, geography. We wouldn't do a shared vocabulary because we always do a shared vocabulary for our students.
It reinforces what they're being exposed to, and that there's a consistency between one location and another location. In elementary schools, at least where we're working, we find that things are so compartmentalized that there isn't a connection outside of that particular lesson academic area. So to be able to share the vocabulary gives them a better exposure and also their ability to utilize the vocabulary in context.